Hey everyone. It's been a while since I've seen some of you, so I thought I would go ahead and um, do this presentation so you guys can see it at home instead of waiting till you get into school. So our next project is going to be a flat to form 3D sculpture. And today, hopefully you watched a video about Richard Serra, an artist that works with great big slabs of steel. Um, Hopefully paid attention to him when he was in his studio, and you saw a lot of his little smaller kind of models for his great big work. So we're going to take flat objects. I sent home on that last day of class before parent-teacher conferences. I sent home some cardboard. So if you don't quite get it assembled at home, that's fine. You guys can come into school this Thursday and Friday, and we'll have work days um, during class. So you can see here's flat, and then on the right is some curved kind of slabs of cardboard kind of cut in curves and assembled on the base plate. So we have goals, our objectives for the projects. So you're going to learn about Richard Serra. So hopefully you guys got introduced to him today, and how they impact the places where they are installed. So as you noticed on the video, some of them are installed outside and some are inside. You'll consider how abstract sculpture could change your own kind of environment. Students will expand on your ideas by completing 4 sketches of possible designs on a planning sheet. And then you'll translate those sketches into a sculptural object with different planes of space. So we're going to talk about that word planes in a minute. And then you'll mount it. And then we're going to talk about how you can show scale. So how, if it were to be built really large scale outside or someplace else, how would you prove to us that would be as large as you imagine it to be, or as small as you imagine it to be? But I kind of want you to go for something like with a large feeling. All right, so Richard Serra, you saw hopefully the video, but he was born in 1938 in California, and now he lives and works out of New York at a big studio there, and he has lots of people that he has working for him. He also does have some studios around the world when he has to do work in other parts of the world, so that he doesn't have to transport all that big old heavy steel across the ocean. He can work in different locations. I believe he has one in Germany and then somewhere over in kind of the Eastern Asian countries. I like this quote that I don't know if I finished it, but I put some of it on here. If you are dealing with abstract art, you have to deal with the work in and of itself and its inherent properties. The focus is mainly on mass, weight, material, gravity, and so on. So Richard Serra is saying, don't look at my work and try to imagine it as something else. So in the video, hopefully you listened to him. He talked more about like memory, but I think it was an afterthought. He created his work first and then thought, I wonder if this has anything to do with my past. So here's some more kind of an upshot looking into the sky of Richard Serra's work. So flat surfaces, but raised up into real space. That's what our goal is going to be here. So we've been working with perspective, the illusion of depth, but now we're going to be dealing with real kind of space, and kind of capturing internal spaces. So we'll talk about, how to accomplish that. So plane, if you hear me or any kind of instructions mention the word plane, it does not mean a plane flying up in the sky. It means a 3-dimensional standing flat object. So in like this room or the room you're in, the walls, the ceiling, the floor would all be considered a plane. Now where those planes kind of come together and meet in corners of the room is where 2 planes meet. So yeah, this is like a cube or a pyramid. So we've been talking about shapes into forms. And then also in 2D work, the actual surface of the paper is a picture plane. So when we were trying to, on 1 point perspective, create the illusion of planes within the flat picture plane. So planes is just a really big important word in art. So it's got dual meaning. So if you're going to go to on a trip, you're going to get on a plane. But in this case, it's more of a math and art word. So plane is a flat surface. Could be three-dimensional, could be two-dimensional. All right. You guys are also going to be thinking about the intended site or location that you think your sculpture would look best. Could it be outdoors or indoors? So it could be a green space like a public park or an urban space, so concrete public space. Indoors, maybe a museum or a high-end shopping mall, maybe a remodeled airport. So you can see a couple examples inside, outside, more in a public office building kind of outside of it. And then this one's got trees and grass around it. Public art, if it's in a public space and there's no gates and there's no admission price, it's out there for everybody to see and enjoy. So if it's in a park or an airport or maybe sitting outside the Chiefs Stadium, well, that might cost money to get into the Chiefs Stadium, but anyway, or the parking lot. But if it's out there, like in the middle of a downtown city, it's public art. It's intended to be enjoyed by anybody who happens upon it. It doesn't have to just be in a museum. All right. So if you build a small model, I want you to think of how it would be interpreted as a large installation. How can people walk around and enjoy it? And, this space maybe didn't have this sculpture in it. All of a sudden, it got commissioned to be in this space. And then what did that change, or how did that change people's perceptions of this outdoor space in this urban area? Here's some more ideas of scale, like the little people are colored, or not colored, but pictured in there. So that idea of relationship and scale. If we go back, that one too had people. So the scale we can tell is very large. And then these are little tiny people in and amongst this kind of interesting shaped kind of sculpture or building. And then here's one I've been working on. It's not finished yet, and I've actually put it on a larger base. So this is not connected yet, but I'm trying to figure out like my interior spaces. So I can still bend this around and kind of close up spaces. So I haven't actually attached it yet. I've worked on it today with my classes. And then here we can add scale with Sculpey clay. So I have Sculpey clay in the classroom. So when you guys come to class, you guys will be able to make little Sculpey clay people or animals or whatever you want to do. And you can see here I've drawn a sidewalk around my water, and I'll add more grass. I need to add more green space. But this would be a good example of the little scale, right? So if this were actually installed or built out in a public space, it would be quite large compared to my little model here, my little scale. So I'm thinking I'm also going to collect some pebbles to put around my water. I think I might make a tree out of wire. So as I continue to do that stuff, I'll put together a separate video kind of time-lapsing my project kind of together, or showing it come together. So anyway, I'm going to attach a planning sheet to this post. So while you guys are at home, if you have a printer, you can print it. If not, you can do some sketching in your sketchbook and look at the planning sheet. It's the same one as always. So I'll give you digital copies if you want to do a little typing on the planning sheet, and then draw some ideas that you kind of, after this presentation, kind of are getting for the project. And then when you guys come to class, we're going to have a work day. So I know I sent cardboard and things home, or cardboard home with you and paper tape. But if you don't get something assembled at home, that's okay. If you just kind of start thinking about your idea of what you would like to do, that would be really, really helpful so that you guys are ready to go on Thursday. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and shut that down. And I hope you guys are doing well. And I will see you later this week. So long.